Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? What's up, y'all? We're back, man. We're back with another episode of Medianoche Podcast. And it's fitting, man. It's my first time having Cuban coffee and pound cake in a little minute. I'm here with the homie, man. He's back for another conversation with me. I got Orion here. What's up, dude?
Yo, what up? Brass balls, Orion, smoking mirrors.
Yeah, man. I'm here, bro. When you gave me your address, like I said, I thought you were like much closer to me. But it's cool because I like to give my van some highway miles. It feels good driving it all the way up here.
Yeah, the last time we were together at my crib was when I was in North Miami, so that was the crib you were probably thinking of.
It is, man. But that's dope, bro. While I'm here inside the man cave with you, I was looking around, waiting for you to come back here. And mind you, before we even started recording, I was making some notes on what I wanted to touch back on, what on this podcast. But I see this poster on this wall of when Quell and Maker performed in Miami, and it says 2010. And I remember this show. I remember it, man. I remember when this show was being promoted with Charlie Fast and Name Brand, rest in peace, Name Brand, and D Jane too. I remember her, man, and Think Tank. And I wasn't able to make it to that show, man, because I was working. But that was before my first tape came out, and it's crazy seeing this poster here, yo.
Yeah, man, that was a dope night that went down at the Catalyst in Miami Springs. Rest in peace, Joel. And Quell and Maker actually already had a relationship with DJ and Name Brand because they had gone out to Chicago to kick it out there for some time. And I don't know how they linked up, but they linked up and made a friendship. And then I don't know who had the idea of making that night. I don't know if it was Fast or if it was H2O or what, but somehow that came into fruition, and Name Brand and DJ obviously were on board because they already had a relationship with Quell Maker. And if you look where Name Brand, they put Name Brand with special guests Orion, Detox, and Jazzul. So Jazzul is a talented guitarist that didn't make it out that night, unfortunately, but that would have been dope. And then Detox couldn't make it out that night either. So it ended up just being me and Name Brand doing our set.
Man, when I look at a poster from 2010, it just reassures me of the importance of posters, bro.
I agree, man. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? To have a poster, bro, you gotta put that bread together and get even if it's just 100.
Yeah.
When I came out with the Afterglow project, I had a graphic designer design a little poster of Morty's head sticking out my car window, because the cover of the project is him with his head sticking out the window, but there were more photos of that ride.
Right. Yeah. And it captures a moment in time, man, of not only just a moment in time, but a moment in time where heads collaborated for one common cause. You know what I'm saying? The J Live one that I have up there, and the Quell Maker one you brought up, even flyers for that, because the flyers are basically mini versions of what we're saying. I got this flyer over here. You see that Master Killer Vordo one?
Yeah.
That was the Leftovers, Proto Man, and Audio Thrift Shop back in the days when they brought them down.
Shout out Proto Man, bro. I haven't heard his name in a little minute. And that's Vordo from Cannibal Ox.
Yeah.
That's
Which
fire,
when
man.
I saw that, I was always man, Vordo reminds me so much of Master Killer, and I thought that was such a dope thing for them. Not only the game and the visual of it that they have on that particular flyer, but just to get those two MCs in the same setting, I thought was pretty dope.
Yo, man, talk to me, man, and I guess the listeners too, bro. Cause you've been, obviously anyone that's in the hip hop scene in Miami is aware of the work you've put in. You feel me? And as well as, bro, just like everyone else in their own right. But everything's digital now, for the most part. So I don't really see too many people investing money in like specifically posters. Everyone got stickers. Every now and then you see somebody print out a flyer, but there's something about the poster, you know, like, you know, those cheap black and white posters that you'll see like a whole grid of them in downtown, and they'll be like ripped up, like somebody will try to rip it off the wall, but
half of it stayed on.
Yeah, like this, you know.
I think I think a lot has gotten lost in like the digital way of doing things, and I don't see why, you know, posters, for instance, being used as promo would ever be a thing of the past. Like, people still drive, people still are out there, and they kind of need to see a visual representation outside of what's on their phone, you know. So I remember going to barbershops and seeing it more often, posters, you know, promoting a particular rap album coming out, like, more often. I rarely see that now at the barbershop I go to, at least. Or even at the flea market. When I would go to the flea market, there'll be countless posters of up and coming rappers with their mixtapes or albums or whatever, you know. And I even remember when Flow Rider, before he blew, I remember the first Flow Rider poster I saw was in New York, and it being like, Florida, like seeing the exact poster that you're saying, like the black and white poster, you know, about the size of a human being on a pillar near the highway, and it had Flow Rider. And I remember I was literally driving to the airport, leaving New York at this time, and seeing that and being like, there's a rapper out. I thought it was like some local guy going by Florida, like some local New York rapper going by Florida.
That's what I'm saying. Like, seeing a poster, it leaves an impression, man. Like, you can pay, let's say, like, I remember one time I went on Sway in the Morning, his website. You can buy ad space on his website, Sway's Universe, I think, whatever. And the prices are like affordable. But I'm one of those if I'm gonna pay money for like some type of real estate space, I'd rather just get posters or like a banner. You know, I have like a few banners that I keep with me, you know. So I mean, so I'm here inside of your spot, and I can appreciate how you have like held on to
memorabilia.
Yeah, for real, memorabilia. It becomes a little museum, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I pride myself on that, man. And you know, going back to what you're saying, I think it all matters, you know, buying ad space in a site like Sway's, or buying sponsorship for yourself on your Instagram, or buying sponsorship on your Facebook, along with what are you doing on the streets. I think all of that matters. I think for like, you know, I think anybody that's working on a project that you're gonna release should really consider, how much money am I allocating towards the tangible street stuff, the stuff that people see locally on the street, and how much am I allocating to the World Wide Web to get my stuff out there. You gotta hit all sides.
Yeah, and also you know, the What They Do tape is available in certain record stores, right?
Right now we got the What They Do tape in consignment at Sweat Records in Little Haiti, and then we also have it available at Technique Records, and I'm gonna put it out at Radioactive Records. And that's something like, any city I go to, like I'm gonna go to Orlando in June, so when I go to Orlando, I'm gonna hit up Park Ave, I'm gonna hit up Rock and Roll Heaven. These are different record stores I know that I could put my stuff on consignment there.
You know, when I think of tapes or CDs, when I think of things being available in a record store, there's something about being available there, because nowadays anyone that makes music, they can just get a DistroKid account or a TuneCore account, and all of a sudden you're on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Weezer, all those platforms, right? But there's something about being also available in little mom and pop record shops. It's almost as if that shows that you guys it's like something special about that, you know? Because Apple Music has every song in the world, but Sweat Records doesn't have every record in the world. You know, they only have few distinctly chosen records. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good look, man.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I try to hit all angles. So we did it through DistroKid. So the album, the What They Do Substance Abuse album is available on iTunes, Tidal, Apple Music, all of that. And then also we got the physical, tangible tapes, you know, that we're selling on the streets or whatever, and at the shows, and that store, mom and pop stores like that. You know, a lot of these mom and pop stores, you know, they're willing to support local artists, local talent. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's a relationship that I encourage all artists to build on, and you know, put their material out there at these stores.
You know, like I have a little story with Sweat Records, man, because when I came up on my PA system, I was so proud to have one that I was trying to think of how I could use that as a resource to connect with the music community again, because it's been a few years that I've actually been active in Miami, like on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Because for a while I was at every show, I was throwing shows, this and that. Then I left to California. Then the whole shit that I'm dealing with happened, and now I'm back, and it just feels a little different. Mm-hmm. But now I have the PA system, and when I first got it, because I live right by Sweat Records, you know, I was at the hotel, and I pulled up at Sweat Records looking for an aux cord, hoping that they had one, right? And there's this one woman that works there. I forgot her name. She's a skinny woman. She was nice. And I was like, hey, you know, I just got a PA system. I don't know if you guys do any little in-stores or any shows. You know, if you guys ever need some extra sound, I'm down to, you know, come through and set it up. And she kind of looked at me and goes, yeah, we got a PA system that's like 6,000 watts. I think we're good. And I'm like, damn, okay, fuck. All right, Joe, how much is this mug? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, Joe, like, whatever.
Well, shout out to Sweat Records, Lauren. She's one of the head people running it, and they're good peoples, man. You know, we did the Ultimate High video, and we cameoed Sweat Records. And I've actually had a few things on consignment there. Like, this isn't the first project I've done on consignment with them. The first compilation album I ever put out was back in 2006, and I put it in consignment at Sweat Records back then. Yeah, I say this with all due respect. There's like a weird vibe, man. Like the when I went to show them the Ultimate High video, I had just gotten off of work, and for my job, you know, I dressed like long sleeve shirt, slack pants, you know, that type of getup. And there was a police like all outside the store, and they were like in the middle of arresting somebody on some drug charge or whatever. So here I come in with my glasses and looking all like, yo, they thought I was like a detective or something, dude. Like, I walked in and they were just like, yeah, how can we help? And I'm just like, yeah, you know, I got this rap group, and
That's funny.
So they were looking at me like, you know, like they really thought, they were like, oh, we thought you were with them. I'm like, no, I'm here, like, this is my rap group, and this song's actually about hip-hop as a metaphor of drugs, ironically. And there's like a drug bust going on outside as I'm showing them the video or whatever. But they're cool, man. I mean, at the end of the day, they got a lot on their plate running that store, believe it or not. There's a lot of overhead when you have a brick and mortar store these days.
Hell yeah, man. Much respect to Sweat Records, man. And that was my first time walking in there too, because it's one of those spots that, like, you drive by and you know it's there, but you just keep it moving. Or you'll go to Church Hills and it's closed already by the time you go to Church Hills. So yeah, man, I hope to one day do something with Sweat Records, man. I just want to bring in-stores back. You know, I'm a big fan of, just on Instagram yesterday, somebody posted up an old video of Kanye West doing an in-store back when he was just on his first album. And like, yeah. You know how some like posts is the video, and part of the video has like a caption in big letters, but it's in the video frame, you know, it says, and it was saying something like, I miss when rappers did in-stores. And
There's no in-stores to do. There's no stores to do an in-store too.
And
That's the problem.
That's why when I copped the PA, I was like, yo, I'm gonna use this to do shows in skate shops, in sneaker stores, in record stores. I just want to bring that back, you know, because if you have a show in Orlando and y'all boys ride up to Orlando and that's your only stop, there's so much more that you can do. You feel me? You can go to like radio stations, college radio, whatever. But if you pull up with like ahead of time, hey guys, listen, like I have blase blah, let me set up shop and we can make a little event there. You know, like I'll go on YouTube and I'll look up old videos of like Aesop Rock and Mr. Liff just freestyling in an old record store, old like Super 8mm film of them just freestyling and shit, you know. And I want to bring that back. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, I feel you, man. I just think it's unfortunate. There's like, for instance, there's no Fat Beats in New York. I don't know if did you ever get to go to Fat Beats in New York?
Nah, never went.
Fat Beats was super dope shop, man. I'm fortunate enough to say that I got to go there a few times, cause like I've been to New York at least 7 times by now, you know, and you know, luckily I was able to experience that. That's where I got that Jizza signed, because Jizza and Muggs were doing an in-store in one of those visits I did. But that store doesn't exist anymore, and it sucks, man. I think it does suck that there's no room for like actual tangible products in the music world. And I think music really is the canary in the gold mine, so to speak, because music was the first industry being affected by the digitalization of it, you know. And look at everything else that has trickled down: the movie industry, shows, even that show production. What's up, baby? My daughter Mia making a cameo. What's up? Okay, I'll be there in a second.
Man, I'm happy you invited me to your crib, man. It's been a little while that I'm in a happy home, you know. But yeah, bro, nah, it's true, man. Like when the internet came and non-tangible media became so much more accessible, and then it makes it kind of harder for you to set up shop and try to present that to an even smaller crowd. Like now, when I look at hip hop shows, it's Rolling Loud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Coachella festivals, right? But at the same time, you'll see like Nas perform in a small venue with Static Selecta, and he's Nas, but he still touches the people in a small room, you know? Like that's important, man. Like those experiences are, to me, they're probably even more worthwhile than going to some festival. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I mean, I think A3C is another dope festival, like all hip hop festival in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, right?
And South by Southwest. And those festivals are always gonna exist, but like, yeah, the more intimate environment of somebody performing right in your face is, yeah, I agree with you, man. It's just a different vibe.
And like Calle Ocho has, it's kind of like Calle Ocho is kind of like South by Southwest. It's a long strip with the big stages and the small little stages, you know?
Right, yeah. I think my biggest plight with Calle Ocho has always been that it's not diverse enough. You know, like it's always been the same to me. But you know, at the same time, I can't critique the last 3 years of Calle Ocho because I didn't go. So who am I to sit here and say like, yeah, they don't got it right when I didn't even go? You know?
Well, I mean, like for me, whenever Calle Ocho comes back around and I start seeing the billboards of all the Spanish singers, and they all look the fucking same. It's like they all have the same shaped up little beard with the big ass sunglasses, and they're all like looking like mad serious in different directions. It's like a 3D rotating of the same face, and I'm like, yo, I don't know who none of these fucking people are, you know? Yeah. So I wonder when I think of Calle Ocho, like, mind you, I live in Miami and I'm Hispanic, but I'm not involved in the Spanish music market. So I wonder if there's a place for hip hop, like local hip hop where you don't rap in Spanish in Calle Ocho. Because I even remember maybe like 5-6 years ago, I performed for an hour in Calle Ocho. I was offered a slot. I was the first performer, so I'm there performing, and like abuelitas are walking by me, you know, and like, you know what I'm saying? It's still too early to really bring a crowd, you know. So I want to see more of like Calle Ocho, but for hip hop, you know. And now that's why I can appreciate Wynwood, because it's kind of starting to turn into that a little bit, you know.
I think there's gotta be a way to reach out to that demographic and let them know that hip hop is gonna be transpiring in Calle Ocho. That would be number one. Number two, it would take somebody like a EFN to be able to command that, to demand, like, let me get my own stage, let me be in charge of booking the acts, if that's something he would want to do, because that's somebody that I would imagine with the pool and the respect of both, you know, the non-hip hop community and the hip hop community. That's somebody I could imagine pulling that off. But the biggest thing would be is letting that demographic know that at Calle Ocho this year they're gonna have that. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise they might not even, and you might be in a situation where you're performing to a bunch of abuelitas and people that never listen to real hip hop.
And yo, the abuelitas, they were liking it, bro. They were, yeah, you know what I'm saying? They were like, you know what I'm saying? I said, let me see your hands. And I'm like, oh, Spanish, I forgot. But like, you know, when you go to the main stage, you have the girls like shooting the t-shirts out of the cannon, the little shotgun thing. And I remember, man, like, because I always had like a big book bag full of merch. And for a while I had beanies with my little 12 a.m. patch. You feel me? So when I pulled up to the main stage, and it's funny, man, now that I think about it, I always had some way to like to get in there and like get in contact. Hey, throw this, shoot this out of the cannon, you know. And I'll give them like 3 or 4 beanies, and I'll take my little iPhone out and like film the launch of it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, cuz like, you know, like, fuck, man, like, I love Miami and I love hip hop, but Miami hip hop, I want like the connection to be. I'm probably just a hater, bro. You know, like, like, I love it, man. I love it, bro. But I just want, you know, like, a couple good things happened a couple days ago. Sway from Sway in the Morning had his show at Wood Tavern. And a bunch of Miami MCs rocked it. You know?
Yeah, I really only saw a couple of videos from that. King Hoodie did his thing. Untamed, he did his thing. Cool Peoples did his thing.
Cool Peoples spaz on that one.
Yeah,
man.
he did really good on that one. And then what's it called? Choco, I know, was out there, and Infinite was out there, but Infinite didn't. He told me that he wasn't able to get on the mic because they weren't running it. Well, I don't know. Were you there or you weren't there?
Nah, I wasn't, man. I was actually at my second job.
Okay. I was at my first job, you know, and it's like, yo, like, he told me that they weren't running it like one after the other. It was very sporadic, and then they didn't get around to him getting on the mic. I wish he would have gotten on the mic. He would have fucking killed that shit. But one thing he told me that I didn't like, man, and he told me, he was just like, yo, like, I don't, you know, with all due respect to the MCs that were there, he's like, I don't feel nobody really killed it. You know what I'm saying? This is what he told me. But the shit that bothered him, and it bothered me, him telling me, is Heather B. Much respect to Heather B. Shout out. But she was just like, yo, this is the best Miami got. This is the best Miami got right now. They're not like kind of like disappointed on us or whatever. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, first of all, you're doing your event Friday from 7 a.m. to like 12 p.m. or whatever. What you think, dog? Real MCs don't gotta work? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like I was waiting for you to finish to say that exact thing. Like, shit, we you know, people got jobs, yo.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Fuck, man? You think I'm gonna call out just so I could go to Wood Tavern at 7 a.m. in hopes of getting on the mic? You know how pissed I would be if I didn't get on the mic that day. You know what I'm saying? And I took the day off of work. You know, and I got a household to maintain. You know, come on, man. And then the other thing I didn't like about that comment is that I felt this from a lot of New York MCs that come here to retire, you know, and or they either come here to retire, or they come here on vacation, and they look down on real MCs from down. They're disappointed that real hip hop isn't popping like that in Miami, that it's all this trap shit or whatever. But then the real hip hop that is going on, they look down on. And they like, I've seen it, man, from a lot of cats that I'm not gonna name right now, but that they like, you know, they look at us like lower class tier or lower tier of MCs, regardless of how lyrical you are sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So
But yo, hold up, let's expand on that, you know what I'm saying? Because I have my own thoughts on this, you know, and anyone that's chopped it up with me knows that I'm not afraid to like be vocal on my take on this, right? But let me ask you, man, like, why do you think that is, that out of town MCs or people that are educated in like lyrical hip hop or whatever have this tendency of like looking down on Miami hip hop?
I think it's because it stems from like New York having that pride of them being the originators, and you know, the MC battles really starting over there, and just honing your lyrical ownership on the mic type thing. And then it also, as far as Miami is concerned, where did we get our fame from? Luke, Two Life Crew, the booty music era and stuff. So we were looked down on for a long time from that, you know what I'm saying? It all stems from that, really. And then it stems from like, it's one of those things where it bit New York in the ass, because for a while in Miami, if you were doing some real lyrical content music, oh, you're trying to be New York, oh, you think you New York now? And then you would have some MCs from down here be like, yo, you know, I'm from New York. And nah, dog, you moved here when you were 6. Like, you know, you're from New York, but come on, man.
It's ironic because now New York is trying to be Atlanta and then doing SoundCloud style rap for the most part. I mean, there's obviously like a plethora of New York MCs that keep it authentic for how this sounds over there, but it's just ironic, man. You know, I feel like when I try to figure out why people from New York have this tendency of looking down on the Miami hip hop scene, I feel like it's almost a subconscious thing where they come here on vacation and we live here. So in the back of their minds, they're probably thinking, how hard can these people really have it? You guys got sunny weather all the time. You don't know what it's like to be in a snowstorm. You don't know what it's like to be in the New York train station. And they compare their quality of life to ours. Yeah. And they're like, man, y'all ain't built like us.
Well, it's a lot of things. First of all, that mentality that I guess the New York hip hop scene, like whether you were just a New York hip hop lover that's from New York and you have huge pride about that, or whether you were an MC from New York, there's that ownership pride that they had. But that wasn't only against Miami, because I have an interview that Chino XL did with DJ Khaled where he's talking about how New York would go to Jersey and hate on Jersey and be acting like, why these Jersey dudes trying to do what we do. And I've heard interviews of MC, I forgot what MC from Philly was saying that about New York MCs going to Philly and hating on Philly. Where it overextends with Miami is the fact of booty music era, and we're the South. So the South and the North, you know, going back to Civil War days, you know what I'm saying? Like the South and the North, South was always seen as you know, more country. You know what I'm saying? So it's like MCs from here, like, you know, we may be lyrical, right? But then we might not even hear our twang in our own verses.
Yeah, some people tell me that I have an accent in my music. I don't hear it. I just, if anything, I'm suppressing the Miami accent a good amount when I rap on over beats. Yeah. So it's just a little funny, man, this dynamic, because ideally you want to be able to just express appreciation for just hip hop in general, and obviously give props to Miami to New York being New York, bro. But it's like at the same time, I can kind of see where Heather B's coming from to an extent, because I watched the video, bro. You know, I watched it. You know, and yo, listen, man. I want to be able to be inspired too. You know, like one of my favorite rappers is Currency. Yo, hold on. Yo, Morty, chill, man. Good boy. Yo, so look, so like one of my favorite rappers is Currency, right? And Currency has this one line where he goes something like, I'm looking at you too. I need you to inspire me. You feel me? Yeah. And when I look at the current like cats from down here that are doing their thing, I listen to them rap, and like I encourage them to keep going, because I know what it's like to be an aspiring rapper. I am one. But I'd be lying if I'm here like, yeah, dog, that was fire, dog. It's like, nah, no, bro. Like, I find myself walking away kind of just disappointed more often than I'd like to be. And when I watched that video, the only MC in that whole lineup that really like made me do the stink face was Cool People. And his was an acapella. He even told them like, hey, I'm not feeling this beat, bro. Just let me do my thing. Y'all just let me do my little acapella. You feel me? And you know, I applaud him. But for everyone else, I'm like, yo, don't quit. Just, you know, just listen to a little, you know what I'm saying? Go back to the Jay-Z's and Eminems and Biggies. And
I mean, I feel you on that, where you're coming from, but I don't look towards other music to inspire me anymore. You know what I'm saying? I get more inspired by movements. What are you doing? If you're putting great music together, cool. I'm gonna definitely, if I run into it, because you know how it is, there's so much these days. So if I run into it, cool. And then I'm more inspired by your movement. Because that's what I'm trying to tackle. I'm inspired to make dope music every day. I don't need to hear anything dope anymore, really. Like, I don't need to hear dope music from other artists locally or internationally, whatever. I don't. Like, I've heard enough of it. Like, look around, dog, like how much music I have here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard enough dope music to keep me inspired forever. That's the way I feel. But movements is what gets me really motivated. Like Griselda and what they're doing. Ito, you know, from New York, what he's doing. This dude Demrick in LA that he's running with Be Real and Exhibit. My homie NFA, who's in LA right now doing his thing massively, and he's attacking the Latin market hard. Legacy from down here, you know, I've known Legacy for years. I've known he's ill. So when I see him drop a dope verse that doesn't inspire me, it's just like, yeah, I've been known that. But what gets me inspired is seeing him go to New York and seeing him, you know, branch out.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. Like, what inspires you is not the caliber of the rapper, it's the drive in the mobility, like them making moves, like actually going the distance on the road trip and going somewhere. And
yeah, the actual grind of it is what inspires me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, it's funny, man. Like, mind you, I don't mean to cut you off. Like, I'm like this. I'm your counterpart in this. Yeah. Because when I see someone making moves, I'm like, yeah, I've been on that mentality. I've been on that. But when they get on the mic and they rap, I want to hear some shit that impresses me, that inspires me. I want to hear the ill wordplay. And mind you, man, I'm a rap nerd, but at the same time, it's like I feel you, you know, like how do I explain this? Like, I want to be able to, like, 1 second, y'all.
Fine, okay. Let mommy know I'm recording, okay?
My bad, y'all.
Sorry about that, real life interruptions.
This is a what do you say on TV? This is a family I can't remember.
This is a family feel good podcast.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop for the kids. But look,
go on with what you were saying.
but what I'm saying is like, you know what it is, man? I just miss that feeling of when I was young and rapping just fucking wowed me. You know, it wowed me, and I feel like it's nobody's fault. I was chopping it up with Mowgli about this, right? Like, it's bittersweet because when you do it for a while, like you like it's kind of hard to when you peek behind the curtain so much. Yeah. The show loses its magic.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think we talked about this in our first podcast. Maybe not, but we're magicians, and you know how to do the magic tricks now. So it's very hard for you to get wild, for me to get wild by dope artists. However, I still appreciate dope new music. Like I said, like Ito is somebody I recently got into, and I've just been peeping his music, and I really like his music and stuff, and you know what he puts together. And yeah, like I said, what really inspires me is the grind and the movement that they put in. But if your music ain't good, I could respect your grind. I could, you know, that does kind of inspire me. But if the music ain't good, it loses some luster. I'm not gonna lie. That does matter. That does factor into it. You know what I'm saying? I hate when I see dudes that are like out there grinding, really doing their thing, and I'm just like, you should maybe put some more time in those raps, bro.
Okay, yeah, good, man. I'm glad that you can. I kind of see where I'm coming from. Yeah, you know. And on that note too, man, like one of the things that I wanted to get back to before we even started recording was the importance, right, of when a fan approaches you, when someone that just knows who you are out on the street just walks up on you and it's like, yo, hey, Orion, I know you, man. I saw the video of you and Hialeah with the lowriders and shit. That's you, right? Yeah. And then you might be having a bad day, but you gotta kind of, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta be the cool slice of ham, man, every single time. And you want to know something else? It's like people are gonna come up to you and say things that they think are compliments, and it may hurt for whatever reason. You don't like what they say. You know, whether they tell you that, yo, you're the dopest underground rapper, and in your mind you're like, I don't want to be underground anymore. You know, you can't fire off on them. Or if they come up to you and they, like, I've had people tell me like, yo, bro, your album's amazing, dog. Esperanza, yo, when are you gonna come out with another one? And in my mind I'm like, dude, I've dropped 2 other solo projects since then that are, in my opinion, way better. I've dropped a group album recently, and you're talking about a project I put out in 2008. But I'm not gonna fire off on that person, you know. Instead, what I'm gonna do, what I have done, because this has happened to me, is just be like, yo, I actually have other projects, homie. I have other projects you could check for. Take down my website. I'll give them the website real quick. That leads them to the other projects, and that's it. And keep it moving, man. You can't fire off on people and get mad at people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know what, man? Like I encourage anyone that's listening that makes music, right? Because I've noticed, bro, that like, you know, this podcast, like the audience that has been kind of like, maybe because of the hashtags that I use when I promote it, it seems to draw a lot of attention from people in music. You feel me? So anyone that's listening, like when someone pulls up on you and you're having a bad day, like, I would hope that person can consider that you're just having a bad day. That way, that if you do get if a fan does get fired on, like by some rapper that's just like, that album's old, yo, I dropped all this new shit, man. Yeah, man, y'all, you ain't no real fan. Yo, you aren't in the loop of what I got going on. Yo, I gotta go, bro. Peace. It's like, in that fan's mind, he's probably thinking like, this dude is an asshole. You know, like why would I ever? Some people can't even recall a track from some artist that dropped a month ago. So like, it's a blessing to have an album be brought up that's like over 10 years old. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, regardless of why, the fact they're coming up to you and recognizing you, I don't care if it's like, I don't care if it's somebody coming up to me telling me like, yo, Ryan, dog, like you're one of the illest in Miami, and they have no idea are you ever gonna drop an album? And I'll be like, yeah, I've dropped like 3. Like, the fact that they're coming up to you is just like, yo, it should be a sign of motivation for you to keep going at this, and then plug them into what you got going now, because they could have seen you and not said nothing.
What are some like let's throw some ideas out there, man. Not that these ideas are unique, but maybe some tactics on how to get your music heard in creative ways. Because I'm gonna tell you one that I'm actually really a fan of, right? Okay, in Wynwood, there's all the murals and shit, right? And you have people walking up and down the streets. Do you remember when Kanye West had all the projectors around the world play one hit? I think it was New Slaves or Black Skinhead. I think it was New Slaves. It was just his face rapping, right, on the side of like big buildings of
I don't remember that at all.
When he was coming out with the Yeezus album, he had in like London, France, New York, in major cities that have like a major building that's like the Louis Vuitton building or the Gucci building or whatever buildings they were, companies that were trying to marginalize him, trying to get into fashion. He got a big ass projector and premiered the music video to New Slaves, I think it was, on the side of those buildings, and everyone gathered around, took their phones out and filmed it, and it just kind of was this crazy marketing scheme. You feel me?
Yeah, that's you're talking Yeezus money.
So no, obviously Yeezus money. So on a much smaller scale, like, I fuck with projectors, yo. You know, like, just to get a projector and a little, you know what I'm saying, like a little speaker on the side of some building, like, when you turn it off, like, they can't buff over that. You know, they can't rip down, they can't spray paint on that banner, because it's not a banner, it's a projector. You feel me? So I like the idea of doing that, man. Like,
yo, I think that's brilliant, and I think it would be cool if we could let's organize a night, and all the dope MCs we know that have dope videos, let's project their videos on a wall in Wynwood and have a cipher in front of it.
yo,
I'm down for something like that.
Yeah, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and things that unify cats like that and really show, like, it's like, you know, maybe playing the music video on the side of a building, and then someone takes their phone out and tags Heather B in the video. Like, like, yo, Heather B, look, man, you know what I'm saying?
I think that would be ill, man. I think
we was
should
at work.
do that.
My bad. Look,
I think one thing, you know, I'll put this out there, because like, I'm not like the type of person that's like, oh, I said that and then he took my idea. Like, I don't care about all that shit. That shit's like petty bullshit to me. But I'm gonna get these posters done this week for the What They Do project, and then the posters are gonna have a QR code where people could scan the QR code, and it'll take them to the hyperlink that takes them to whatever streaming platform it is that their hearts desire, you know. I'm also gonna have keychains that are with the QR code and give those out, you know what I'm saying, to people. There's like playlists on Spotify. If you could get your playlist game on point, you know, basically you can put, me and Dravs were talking about this, and we got to get on the ball with this, of like, basically you put a playlist together, and maybe you got a Dr. Dre song in there, a Diamond D song, a Pete Rock song, and, you know, all these different songs, and then put one of your tracks in there.
yo,
You know what I'm saying?
and you know what, man? Like, some promotional companies, they make like 100 playlists. You feel me? And they'll be like, yo, you know, we can get you all these plays, and we'll put you on these playlists, and you get the news of like, hey, you got accepted to this one playlist, but that's one of their own. They're just acting like they had to submit it to somebody. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
a hustle.
They're giving you the illusion of choice.
Yes.
You know?
They're giving you the illusion of expansion.
Yeah. That's what I meant. So it's like, hey, man, you know, bro, it's crazy, because once upon a time, it was just about wowing the crowd around you listening to you rap. And now it's just so much, bro. When I peek behind the curtain of rap music, damn, dog, like, fuck, it's like this whole thing, bro, where when I see somebody like for example, Spaz is just sticking to just performing live every chance he gets and getting it on video and just fucking doing it, polishing that live performance. You know what I'm saying? Then you have cats like on the other side of the spectrum. Well, I'm not gonna say no names, where what they're sharpening is just putting out, like, they just are always in the studio. They have 1,000 songs and all the songs are really good, but they never perform. And you see both sides of the spectrum. Then you have guys that get like 6,000 likes a photo, but it has like 10 comments, and their Spotify listeners are like 100,000, but I don't know anyone in my city that bumps their music. You have these like,
yeah,
you know what I'm
feel
saying?
It's such a, yeah, there's different sides to it, and there's never a perfect way of, you know, attacking the game. And I think that's why movements inspire me more so than music these days, is because when I get up in the morning, my mind is always working in what can I do to expand my music? What are other people doing and how are they going about it? Okay, this is gonna cost this much, so do I want to get into that investment right now, and is it really gonna pay off? And I'm constantly having these dual battles with myself over this. In a way, it's like making music has become easier for me, and not just in like the recording and mixing sense, it's because I've always had that available to me, but the writing process and the execution of the delivery of my flows is so much easier for me now that it's not even a problem.
Like, would you say that music is the easy part?
It's extremely the easy. It's the easy and fun part. Like that's it. You know, for me, like, and I'm glad I'm at this point, because it wasn't always like that. Like, I had to work at it. I had to work hard at it. I'm not gonna front like I picked up a pen and immediately I was the golden child of rhyming. No, it took me a while to hone my shit, and I feel like I'm at a level now as far as creating the music that I've never been before. I'm way better now than I've ever been. I'm like, if Cats thought I was dope back then, and Cats thought, he could be deadly on the mic if you battle him back then, I'm like a fucking sensei now, yo. I'm not even, I'm on my own balls right now, but that's for a reason. What gets me is the other shit, the promotional shit, the marketing, you know, how to really expose your music, you know, get outside of those lines is what's really the shit that burdens me, you know what I mean?
And it's tough, man, because in the mind, you know, like, you think, damn, dog, like, I know that what I have is I have vegetables over here, you know, and you want to put vegetables on the plate, but kids don't like vegetables, they like candy, and you're trying to persuade them, like, no, chill, like, you don't understand, this is good for you. They're like, nah, I'm straight, I'd rather get the shit that tastes much better than that, and whatever, bro, like, you don't understand, dad, you know what I'm saying? The audience, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's one of those things where it's like for instance, I brought him up earlier, NFA. I can't do what NFA does. I don't want to do what NFA is doing. Like, what NFA is doing is great, it's awesome, I respect it and I love it, you know, but that's not me. Like, I would have to, I'm making a different type of vegetable, you know what I'm saying? I'm farming a different type of vegetable. So
I mean, like, well, would you mind hold on, give me a second. Morty, come here, bro.
No, I'm good.
Come here, cuz. What you
Sorry
doing,
about
man?
that, bro.
Nah, it's straight, man. See, this is the thing, bro. Like, this is why I like podcasts, bro. Like normal shit's gonna happen, and I like keeping that on there. You dig?
There's no rules to this shit, you know.
But yo,
I was trying to do a podcast, man. I don't know if I told you, and I'm gonna show you some of the episodes that I recorded, but I was trying to do it a little different than the straight off. I love what you do, because it's just straight off, no editing. You know what I'm saying? You just let it fly. So I was trying to do it a little different, where I would go in there and edit it and put these funky sounds in the background that relate to what the interview is, where the interview's going. But it's a lot of work, bro. It's a lot of work. I did like 5 episodes, and I'm just like, yo, this is a lot of work. Like, to go into each episode and okay, he said this thing about Double Dragon, the Nintendo game. I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna put this sound in there. You know, it's a lot of work, bro.
Yeah, it is, man. I'm not gonna front like
because even this is a lot of work. What you're doing right now, this is
the setup.
It's fun. It's
yeah.
easy, but it takes determination to do it. It takes, will to do it.
Yeah,
I applaud you, man.
Like, no, I appreciate that, man. But before we expand on that, like, the part that's a lot of work for me when I set up these podcasts is just taking all the gear out, connecting it, turning everything on, setting up shop. But this is such a small scale compared to like when I was working with Drink Champs, because the Tahoe or the SUV would pull up. Hazardous Sounds would have this. He would be hauling a Pelican case with the interface, and then another luggage with all the mics and the cables and the mic stands and the alcohol and the cameras and this and that. And that was a whole production for them to just sit there and have 30 bottles on the table and not even touch
half of them.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So for me, this is like a small setup, but it's still a lot. And people don't take into account everything that needs to be done just for them to be able to press play and consume some media.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. They don't know what it takes to cook all this up, man. And the same thing with music. And like I said, like the music part is the easy part for me, and I'm sure it is for you at this point, just the creative aspect. But it still takes work and determination, and for you to take time out of your day to record something, mix something, and then put it out to the people, although it may be easy for you to do because you have a level of experience, it's still a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? It's enjoyable, easy work, but it still takes time out of your day, and to just put it out and to feel as if it's not being appreciated, that sucks.
That's the thing, man. Like, I can even I'll give you another scenario that's parallel to this. When I was out west, in North California, everyone knows that's where everyone trims up the bud. They trim it up, people in Miami, me too, when we were young, you'll link up with the weed man, you'll get the little dub or the dime, whatever, and you'll just pull it out, break it up, smoke it. Yeah, that's it. You have no idea the work that came into for that to just arrive to you,
Yeah.
Like, people, they don't know, bro. They don't know all the crazy shit that happens just to produce marijuana. Make sure it doesn't get molded up. Hire people you can trust to start trimming it and not steal from you.
Yeah.
Like, try to get it off and pray to God that the guy that you are working with gets it where it's got to go safely and that people enjoy it.
Yeah.
So like when I was exposed to that whole lifestyle, it's so much like, bro, like music, or like anything else, video production. Nowadays you go on YouTube, you press play on the video, and okay, whatever. Your one view may have been the outcome of months of work for a 3-minute video.
Yeah.
It's
it's just the whole consumer mentality has taken over so much. It's like, not to call us parasites, but does the parasite have any admiration for the host that lives? No, because eventually a parasite in any host is gonna drive the host to death. You know what I'm saying? So how much do you appreciate the host if you're driving it to death? I think for us as a consumer driven society, that goes for food, that goes for where our food comes from, where our entertainment comes from, the amount of work it took for that to be cultivated. We just don't look at, man. We don't see,
It's funny you say that, man, because what you just put me onto reminded me of, I was freaking out a couple nights ago because I was at the hotel, right? And I'm just staring off into space. And you know how you can kind of like force your eyes to blur the vision? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I noticed in my eye a little squiggly line floating around, and I couldn't focus on it. Like when I would look at it, it would be pushed away. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that ever happens to you.
I think so,
But,
man.
like,
I think I know what
I'm talking
you're
about,
referring
like,
to.
I blur the vision, and then I'll see a bunch of little squiggly, see-through little lines inside of my eye, and I'll be like, where you going? And I look at it, and it just keeps going away. And, dog, I was freaking out, bro, because that sounds a lot like a parasite. There's a video online. Joe Rogan puts out a video of, like, a frog, and inside of the frog's eye is a parasite in there, like, you know, like,
Well,
just
did you look at your eye in the mirror to see?
Nah,
I mean, take a
like-
good look at your eye in the mirror, cause yeah, dog. Like parasites, if a parasite made its way towards your eyes, that means it's a lot closer to your brain. You know, for a while I was obsessed with that show, Monsters Inside Me. You ever seen that show?
Nah, but hold on. Let me like reassure everybody that I don't have a parasite in my eye. Because this is the thing, bro. So I looked it up online, right? And Google is amazing because you just type in.
Yeah, it's a man. I remember once upon a time when I was a kid. I remember me and my cousin saying to each other, "Wouldn't it be cool to have a device that you could just ask anything to and it gives you an answer?"
Yeah, it's like a modern day Oracle, straight up.
Really is.
But like the things are called floaters, and the in my eye, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have these little things. There's even a little Family Guy skit on it where Peter's trying to like focus on it. He's like, "Where you going, you?" And he's just you look at it and it's like your pupils pushing the very thing away, so you can't focus on it. But what they are is they're microscopic fibers within the vitreous tend to clump and can cast tiny shadows inside of your retina. So it's like, I'm okay, but for a little while it freaked me out, man. You know what I'm saying?
Understandably so, man. If you would have seen that show Monsters Inside of Me, you would have been really freaked out. That show's all about that. And like, you know what's funny about that show Monsters Inside Me, man? That the narrator is the same narrator for this other show that they had called Gangland. That Gangland is all about like, this is the history of the Crips. This is the history of the Hells Angels. So it's the same voice. So I always thought it would be cool to switch the narration from Gangland to Monsters Inside Me and just watch a whole episode like that.
You're saying like you're watching the monsters as if they're like a gang, and he's
narrating like these parasites and people. A lot of people, yo, believe it or not, man, like, you know, a lot of people have parasites in them and they don't realize it. You know how they say you some bacteria is good, and especially like if you consume, well, fuck it, man. I'll tell you like this. I think even people that are vegans probably got parasites in them. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of like what's it called? The morticians, like people that are morticians that have said like when they get their bodies in there, parasites be coming out. They've had parasites coming out.
Yo, not for nothing, man, but whoever's a mortician, I can imagine like when he gets home from work and his wife was like, "So, how was work?" And he just looks over at her like, "You don't want to know, bro." Yeah. Yo, it was one of those days, you know. This person got shot. But you know, man, like with that being said, right? I wanted to kind of just jump back right quick. You know, people that have this perception of Miami hip hop, like it's just a party city. You know, I have a lot of out of towner listeners. You know, and you know, man, Miami hip hop when I was growing up, that was my first impression of like fucking hip hop in general. You know, going to these old jams and shit. And now these guys, they got older, they got families, you know, gray hairs and shit. I even have a couple here by my ear that I'm kind of like, fuck, bro, it's starting to happen to me too. And you know, man, thankfully with the internet, we can start putting out these quality products and quality media. But it's true, bro, it's true what you say. Making the moves is where it's at. But the catch-22 of that is that the older you get, and when people start having families, the harder it is to make those moves. You know? So I wonder if at some point people that do have families, maybe you can give me your take on it, you know? Where maybe it's like just a waiting game, you feel me? Where hip hop is growing and you can kind of be in your late 30s and it doesn't matter. Like in Griselda, those guys are in their late 30s, you know? and they're just now really starting to get attention, and they probably got families too. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just gotta do your art. You know, keep pushing yourself to drive yourself to not follow trends. You know, if what you're doing just so happens to be in line with the current wave and the trend, cool, keep at it. Maybe that's your route. You're good at it, whatever. But if what you want to do is different than what's bubbling, and you don't see how, like, yo, this is not gonna pop off because of what the current climate is or whatever, who cares, man? Just keep at it. This is, at the end of the day, you gotta look at your art as IP. It's intellectual property. You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna have this. This may be something that doesn't blow up in your lifetime, but your kids see it blow up, and then they benefit because they're heirs to your copyrighted material. So, like, everything I make, regardless of whether it blows up while I'm alive or not, that's part of my will. You know what I mean? Like, all my music that I create, I'm passing to my kids. You know, and that's not everybody can say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least if you're an artist, you already have something to put on your will. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't even have. They look at their wills as only being these tangible assets, but this music that you do is intellectual property. This is an asset. It may not be paying off right now, it may pay off much later, you know, and you take your wins where you can get them, bro. You know, maybe your win is you got one gig in a whole year. You got this one paid gig in Cali. That's a win. You know what I mean? Like, some people have bigger wins, some people have small wins, and you never know when your huge success is gonna come.
Do you see yourself rapping at like 60?
I didn't see myself rapping at 37. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny? I totally see myself still making rap, or the type of music that I make. I don't know. The music I make is primarily hip hop, but it's, you know, it goes off here and there, you know. Yeah. But I totally see myself, man, being old and like just writing a new track, bro, for sure. Hell yeah.
I mean, I think it's completely possible. I mean, because unless something happens with my health, you know, like I lose my hearing or I lose my mind, you know, and when I'm 60 or whatever.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it happening because, like, I didn't see myself continuing to rap at 37 if the shit didn't take off. You get what I'm saying?
Well, you know what would be sick if in our lifetime we finally are able to, like, on some Cowboy Bebop shit, have like little fucking spaceships, and you can be in space, and that'll be such a dope place to record vocals in. Cause there's no sound up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then you could be like, damn, I'm Orion for real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
this was recorded live.
Like, yo,
Orion's belt.
Yeah, hell yeah. You do the selfie. It's like you with like Orion behind you, Orion's belt. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be crazy,
know, man.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, man. You know, bro, like, I agree, man. It's like, yo, just don't fucking quit, man. And really, that's the whole, I feel like that's just life in general. You know? It's like, yo, don't quit, bro. It's like, you look at nature. Like, trees do not quit. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, the world does not stop spinning. So when we stop, when we quit, we are essentially allowing ourselves to be defeated. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes people try to flip it around in an optimistic way and being like, well, you say that it's being defeated, I see it as being liberated, you know, from chasing some dragon that I was never able to catch. You know?
I mean, yeah, I think not everything has to be forever, you know? And just because something is not forever, that doesn't make it any less. So if you were somebody that really loved hip-hop music and were pursuing it as a career and we're doing it to the fullest as to your abilities in the art form for 30 years, and then you just got to a point where you're like, you know what, I want I'm into hunting now, and that's what I really want to do right now with my time. So I'm gonna put this to the side. I don't want to do this rap shit no more. That's fine. It doesn't make it any less that you didn't keep going. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel for me too. Like if in 5 years I'm like, all right, I took this as far as I could take it, and I kind of don't. I've lost the energy to do it, because now I want to get into graffiti more. I want to start painting more. That's something I've always wanted to perfect, and then I might go that route. It doesn't make it any less. It doesn't always have to be forever, whatever you're choosing, you know.
Well, at the same time, people that do jiu-jitsu their whole lives, they practice and continue training because it gives their lives an activity to find a purpose in, you know. And that, for me personally, that is making music. Like, the studio to me is my dojo, you know.
Yeah.
And the new beat is the technique that I'm trying to successfully execute that day, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So like, yeah, you know, I feel like maybe like both of our perspectives add subjectivity to the subject, you know. Like, just, it's so subjective, man, you know. I just kind of feel like when I see people that quit along the way, it's like a little sad story, you know. It's a beautiful story because they're doing great, doing real estate and getting into cars now and living their lives. But like, when I pull up on them and I play that song that they put out 15 years ago, I can see a little twinkle in their eye, like, fuck, man.
I you know what, I think it's sad. I think it's sad if you quit and you didn't want to. That's sad. If you quit because you moved on, it's just not in you anymore, and that's one thing. But if you quit and you didn't really want to quit, that's super sad to me. And then I also think it's sad if you went into this trying to follow a trend, and you were trying to sound like this person one year and sounding like this person the next year. You never tried to sound like yourself, and you quit, and now every time you hear one of your homies release a new track online, or you hear an artist you used to look up to drop an album, you think to yourself, damn, what if I would have tried being myself? That's sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sucks. So
yeah. That's probably more sad. Like, wasted, just or not wasted time, but just misused time. Because it's one thing when you're really pushing it, but you were yourself the whole way. Yeah. But if you bought all this equipment and you invested in all this gear and you watched all these tutorials and you scooped up all this knowledge just to sound like Drake, or to sound like somebody else, whatever, it's like, wow, man, what a misuse of your time.
Yeah, then you sacrifice that. You sacrifice your true self to sound like Drake, and you didn't blow up. So it was all for nothing.
But you know what's funny? Nowadays, it'll probably help you. Not you, Orion, you. I'm saying, like, it'll help some rapper to mimic everyone else now. That's what's popping now. Well, you know,
that's the most, like, aside from the fact that, like I told you, we're magicians and we know the magic tricks. We know what it takes to construct these songs and to go in the studio and mix and put the right plugins and all that shit. We know the magic tricks in that regard. But one thing that I hate when I could tell where you got your verse from. And it used to be like, all right, like somebody, like, I'm okay with like somebody quoting a line from an MC, right? And like, I came in the door, said it before, you know, and they say like something Rakim said, or they take a Nas line, or they take a KRS line and manipulate it. I'm okay with a line. I'm not okay with a verse. And I've seen it. I've seen cats like, and some cats will do it like, yo, Skyzoo did a mixtape where he redid all the songs on Reasonable Doubt. I don't like that shit. I like Skyzoo, but I don't like that shit. Why? Because to me it's cheating when you take yo, I'm gonna take this Mobb Deep song and then I'm gonna just switch like each word he said. You know where he says Queensbridge? Well, I'm gonna say Hialeah. And you know where he said this? I'm gonna do this. I hate that shit. And then it's gotten to the point where people have done it without, at least, I brought up Sky Zoo with the Reasonable Doubt. At least he's letting you know, hey, this is Reasonable Doubt. I took the material from there and manipulated it to make it current. You know what I'm saying? Elzai did that with Illmatic, and it was a dope project. The Elzai project that he did. I don't know if you ever heard it.
Nah, I haven't.
He took all of the beats. What's up, baby? Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to think of. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Elzai basically took all of the tracks from Illmatic and redid them with this band, and it's a dope project that he put out. But all he did was he freaked all of Nas's verses, like the same type of rhyme schemes, but he tweaked them and made them different in his own right. But there's dudes that are doing that on a song and acting like they came up with that whole verse. And no, bro, you took Ghostface's verse, right? You're not giving credit to Ghostface. This is not a track paying homage to Ghostface. You switched everything, and now you're trying to act like you wrote that shit. You know, you didn't write that shit. You fucking took somebody's verse and changed words here and there, put it on a completely different beat, and then when people call you out on it, you're acting like they're crazy. Like,
yeah, stealing verses is a no, bro. Like y'all,
know.
you know what I'm saying? You know, it's one thing that like grinds my gears, and it's like, man, whenever I voice this, I'm saying I'm aware I sound like such a hater, but it's not coming from a place of hate.
What?
It's coming from a place of love, because I love hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's when I hear like up and coming rappers and they'll spit their freestyle, but like the bars that they're like, yeah, this is a dope bar, has been said in hip hop 100 times, and they act like they never heard someone else say it before, which is like, for example, like, yo, I know you in heaven, but I'm about to raise hell. Bro, you can't keep saying that.
Well, it's like, have you seen, there's a video of Alchemist
and Eminem,
and they're like, yo, no more mass hysteria in your area, no more.
If you're a mobster, you better stay the fuck away from lobster. Yeah, bro.
That video is funny because it's true, man.
Yeah, man.
And you know, like, I had that mentality, like, even, bro, back in 2008, like, writing rhymes, and like, I can't say that.
Yeah,
I had that, and that's what would make writing songs harder for me. More challenging, because I was trying to steer away from cliches. You know, I'm not to say that none of my songs have cliches. I am cliche invincible. No, like, I've done little cliches here and there, but I try to stay away from them as much as possible.
Yeah, because look, in hip hop, there's a few lines that are almost like national anthem in rap form, where it's okay for y'all to say this, because this is something that is like, no one owns this, you know. Even though someone said it at one point in time for the first time, everyone's allowed to chant these things, you know. Whatever it is, put your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. But man, I encourage people to just listen to a lot of old rap. Like, go back and listen to as much rap as you can, and if someone said something before, it's like, all right, now you know someone said that what you're trying to say now before, so you can't say it. You know, like,
or how could you say it different?
Yeah,
you're trying to say the same thing, but how could you say it different? Yeah.
Yes, man. I encourage people to be like, yo, look, man, when I'm writing my songs, there's only so many words you can rhyme with other words, but when you get creative with it, you can probably find some other word that no one's ever rhymed with the previous one, and I could appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm always mining for material. Like, I'm always, like, if I'm driving, or I'm not a normal person in that sense. Like, I could have a regular conversation with somebody and they say a word and I'm just like, I'm gonna rhyme with that. They have no idea,
bro. Like,
in my mind, I'm just like,
Have you ever
I'm gonna rhyme with that.
have you ever spoken into your phone so you could type it out and it's you say something into your phone for him to type it in a text message, and then
No, son, I don't even let my phone write my raps.
No, I'm saying
Fuck that.
I'm saying like it says something that sounds just like what you were trying to have it say, and you're like, oh snap, that does rhyme with. Let me write. Yeah, bro. Fuck around, and Siri's gonna be a great ghostwriter, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I was driving yesterday. I was driving home, and I saw it's like this one restaurant said Cuban cuisine, and I was like literally driving, and what occurred to me was just like, yo, I've never rapped with cuisine before. I gotta make this happen.
Yeah, man, it's funny, bro. Like I have I've already gotten to the point where for the last 10 years, I will just play the beat. I'll just play the beat and just kind of construct the verse in my head, like one bar at a time, and you just recite it over and over and over again, and you just add bars to it. You get me? But every now and then, I'll come up with a rhyme, something that rhymes with something else, and I'll put that in a little note. So I'm opening up my notes right here, and like for example, it says here, biopic, like a type of movie about a life. Biopic. And then I have under it the expression in my biopic. You know what I'm saying? Like biopic. But I don't know if I'm ever gonna actually use that. I just wrote it down just to know that like snap like Thanos. I'm never gonna use that. You know? But I thought of it. So I'm like, let me just write it down here and just keep it moving. Cause I don't like forgetting things, you know?
You ever fall in love with a filler line?
All the time.
Like sometimes I'm just like, yo, let me write this verse, bam, and I'm getting down, I'm like, okay, I got this filler line here, but let me keep it moving, and then I'll go back and replace that filler line, and then when I'm done with the whole 16, I'm like, nah, I kind of like that filler line.
Yo, filler lines to me are the new punchlines. For me personally, hell yeah, bro. Like lines that are just very nonchalant. You know, I went to the store and they didn't have lemonade. Damn. Whatever it is that they would, just that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some type of super casual. For that resonates with me more nowadays than some soup. But it has to be delivered right.
Yeah.
You know,
I had this one line I wrote. It's for a Heron track, and like after I wrote it, I was just like, bro. I literally went online and started Googling it to see if somebody ever spit it, because I didn't want to. I was like, life gave me lemons, I bought shares in Sprite. And I wrote it, and I was just like, damn, that sounds like something fucking 38 Special said, or I went crazy, like just Googling it. Because like, I don't want to fucking say a line like that and later on find out, oh, I may have heard it somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I know the feeling, bro. And like you search, and 5 years go by, and you hear the subconscious, you know, like Rolodex that you have.
Yeah.
Oh damn, Cool G Rap said, God damn it. And then like,
that sucks.
For 2 seconds, you feel like a biter.
Yeah. I mean, like things like that, like are things that we're all gripping into an invisible cloud of inspiration out there, and coincidences like that could happen. So that's why I don't, you know, if that happen, if I hear an artist and like, you know, one thing that dudes used to say is, I put my dick in your ear and I fuck what you heard. Like I've heard a lot of people say that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
yeah. Well, Eminem definitely flipped it on that song. He says, like a shepherd having sex with a sheep. Fuck what you heard.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
No, but people hated that. I remember there was some tweets of like, it's the first week of 2019 and Eminem already has the wackest verse of the year. Wow. I'm like, damn, dog. Hey, bro, speaking of that, bro, I'm like, well, really, this is actually, I would say it's a pretty decent note to end on. Like, look, man, tell me your thoughts on this, bro. I feel like people got so conditioned to consume the caliber of lyricism that Eminem has, that he says one corny line here and there, and all of a sudden he just gets written off as not dope. yo, people need to put some respect on Eminem's name, bro. This fool,
Respect.
this guy Eminem, like, how the fuck can people downplay? I don't know what your thoughts are on Eminem personally, if you're a fan of his music or not, but I'm really not a fan of how nowadays Eminem is at this age where he's like, y'all old school already to these new cats, you know? But dog, when he gets on a track and you hear the things that he's rhyming together and his flow, I feel like he's gotten better now than how back in the day he was a little bit more formulaic and in your face with it. You know, met a retarded kid named Greg with a wooden leg, snapped it off and beat him over the head with the peg. It was like new and exciting back then, but that was 20 years ago, and he's only gotten more advanced since then. And nowadays he says of a shepherd having sex with a sheep, so fuck what you heard. And it's like they write him off like, man, nah, y'all can keep that. What do you mean? What do you mean? This is Eminem.
Yeah, I think early Eminem was the shit, and huge fan of that, and huge influence on my writing and my being as an MC and shit. But I think after Eminem's show, for me, he hit a slump, and I only recently started getting back into Eminem stuff, like after the Marshall Mathers 2. He had some tracks on that album that I liked, and then the Kamikaze album had some joints that I liked, and Kill Shot I think was a complete redemption for him. But I'm not like a total fan of everything he puts out. And you know, is he in my top 10? Yeah, he's in my top 10. You know, do I think like people are a lot pickier now and the shit's a lot more fickle now? Because I think a lot more people feel like they're magicians already in this shit, and they know all the magic tricks and they know all the formulas.
Like who would you say? What? My bad, guys. I don't know why this is playing Hip Hop DX here. Let's go back to the lo-fi, if you don't mind, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Yo, okay, so who would you say is in your top 10, Orion?
Top 10 is Nas, and I kind of feel like the Wu-Tang is like you know, shit, man. I Meth is in my top 10. You know, even though his body of work is not there, you know, his solo body of work is not there, but just the way Meth flows on the track, he's in pocket, his choice of words, he's easily top 10. Redman definitely in my top 10, because he does have the catalog to back that up, you know. And who else? KRS-One is in my top 10 because of what he could do live, what his catalog, all that. Shit, man, there's a lot. You know, I don't know, it would extend past my top 10 as far as lyricists go, but you know.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, just going off the top of your head to like name a top 10 is tough, man.
Yeah, it's super tough, you know. But I could tell you this, and I'm a, you know, because there's a lot of listeners out there that all those names they know of, you know. Now, top 5 MCs that I know, that I've worked with, that I've seen them grow. Top 5 MCs is gonna be Midas in Orlando, Midas the Beast. If y'all don't know, go peep him. Like, and I really say this, like, this dude is. His name is Midas the Beast, but he is truly true to that. He's the fucking beast, bro. Like, the amount of material that he shown me that he hasn't even put out yet, and then combine that with what he has put out, this dude is crazy. So he's top MC that I've known. NFA is up there as well. NFA is possibly the best MC that I've seen work, that I've seen craft his skills, that I've seen craft songs. You know what I'm saying? Number 3 would be Detox, and that's, you know, doesn't have the material out there, but believe me when I tell you, like, Tox is bar none. Like, he was at my house like 2 weeks ago. I hadn't heard him rhyme in like 5 years, and this dude just came in here and destroyed shit just out of nowhere like that. He's like very, very ill. You know, so those are my top 3 like dudes that I know on a personal tip, and that are very, very much amazing, that should really be out there and shit, you know. And then beyond that, you know, the legacies, the Spazzes, Mowgli is like a fucking Jesus Christ, bro. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
I had respect for him, you know, prior to knowing him, because I already knew of him in the scene. But when I really started diving into his catalog, I was just like, wow, this guy is special, man. This dude is like one of the best easily in Miami for sure.
Yeah, like, you know what I feel like makes Mowgli's music so dope is that he already got playing with words down pat. He already got his voice down pat. But what the combination of that and his subject matter and his imagination, you know, like, or how he'll say something like, his son Wolfie, like, yo dad, don't say that makes me sad. Oh, all right, Wolfie, my bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, that's hard. And those nonchalant punchlines, lines to me, that's doper than.
Yeah, he has a lot of nonchalant punchlines that like are really like thinker music, you know.
Yeah, and thinking music is that's my shit, bro. You know,
as you guys put it, as you took from him the library
music, man. We had a whole conversation about that, man. And I aspire for my music to resonate with listeners the same way. Where you go down a library and you bust a right. There's a whole little secret passageway with you see a little light flare from some window that isn't even there, you know. Like,
another great lyricist from down here that I would put him like, he would be in my top 10 of lyricists from down here that I know personally. Dinaz, and Dinaz is beast, bro. Beast. He's like, when it comes to him crafting his songs, he's really dope with the pen and really good with harmonies and cadences and things like that. I admire shit like that. You know, Surgeon General is another one that I would put up there in my top 10 of lyricists that I've met down here and shit.
Yeah, man, Miami, bro. Miami has a lot to offer, bro. But like, you know, fuck, man. When Heather B was here, we was all at work, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like. But yo, man, like, you know, with that being said, bro, like, look, I encourage everybody, man, if you're in Miami and you're listening to this, man, just know that, like, this is coming from a place of love, bro. What I'm saying, I'm only speaking for myself, man. Like, it's coming from a place of love, bro. Like, these guys that we mentioned on the podcast, as well as Orion's music, my music, like, look, man, like, the joy of discovery. Music is so dope because you can hear an album from 2011, 2008, and it's brand new to you. It's the first time you hear it, it's considered brand new, but it's so old. It's like the first time I heard the Beatles. The first time I heard the Beatles was brand new to me, and I'm hearing a song that's like 40 years old. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, and you know, on that note, if you've been listening to this podcast this whole time, shout out to you. You know, we appreciate you. And if you could comment right now the word Siloke, I will send you a free What They Do tape cassette album immediately.
Word. Yeah, hey, I mean, look, man, I've never even heard
Nobody's ever done that on the Art Morera podcast.
Hey, man, it's all good, bro.
On the Medianoche podcast, should I say.
You know, so like, yeah, bro, like, everybody listening, man, like, it's true, bro. I really do appreciate y'all taking time to just vibe with us, man, while y'all clean y'all crib or work on your car or whatever the fuck you guys do. So, like, just keep it, you know what I'm saying? Just keep it A1 with us. When you listen to the music, drop some feedback. And really, man, just stay in the loop, man, of what Miami has to offer, bro. This is what this podcast is mainly about. I wanted to just, you know what I'm saying, make a little platform for people that are from down here to allow you to get to know them beyond the music, man. So when you hear the music, you have a little bit more perspective of who they are. You dig? So if you're in Sweat Records or Technique Records, man, make sure you get that What They Do project. Thousands Chronicles of the Third Born. That's a really good listen. Y'all go listen to that.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Any last words, Orion?
Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you for coming through, doing this, bro. And this is like the second time I'm a part of the Noche Podcast, man. I appreciate you, bro. And, keep at it, man. And keep at doing good music, bro, because you got a lot of material out there the world needs to hear. I got a solo project coming out with Draz that I'm going to hammer out by the end of June. It should be done. And then I got another solo project with One Take that should be done soon after that. And then starting in 2020, I'll have my solo project that I'm going to completely produce all the beats. And when we done with this thing here, man, I got to show you some of those tracks and see if there's anything you want to jump on, man, because you definitely got to. That's going to be like it's a solo project, but I'm trying to have features on every single song. So like every single song I wanted to have features and be more of a compilation. I want to really show off my production skills on that one. So
cool, man. I'm with it, man. I'm here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yo guys, follow Noche Podcast on Instagram. Follow Art Morera on Instagram. And what's your Instagram again? It's Brass Balls. What is it?
Brass Balls 09 is my Instagram. So you know what I'm saying?
Yo, hey man, that's a
Go
good
follow.
That's a good merch item, bro. Go to some blacksmith and just have them just make a bunch of brass spheres with your logo on it. It'll be like your little Dragon Balls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But but yo, man, Noche Podcast, Art Morera, what they do, Transit City. You know what I'm saying? Check us out, man. With that being said, I think we out of here, guys. All right. Peace. Peace.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.